What's up, everybody, and welcome to Fanboys at Large, the best podcast in the multiverse. My name is Jose Gomez, and I'm here with my co-host, Don Juan, aka Isaac. What's up, man?
That's my favorite cheer for me.
That's the
What
people
up, what
shoot.
up, what up?
How you doing?
I'm alright. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
I just
good.
spoke to you, so why are you asking me that?
Well, this is how we do podcasts. You pretend like you don't know the other person, like they've been busy all week.
Oh, hello, man. Where have you been?
I've been all right. I've been good. And we got Chris Perry returning to Fanboys at Large. What's up, Chris?
Not too much. Good to be back. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I've been excited all week. Ever since Isaac has put this debate up at the end of the Ant-Man review, and it turned into a poll, and then all week long I was getting people to vote and participate, and we got a lot of votes in, and we got a lot of results that it's going to be interesting. So before we get started with this episode, I want to thank anybody who helped share the poll, retweeted, repost, regram. And I want to thank anybody who helped me on my Periscope name the episode. So it's actually going to be called Ranking the MCU Films. I had a hard time naming it. And this episode is all about ranking. So what I did is I sent out a poll listing the 12 MCU movies. And based on those averages, the movies get ranked based off the votes. So we have 63 votes, and those average out to the top 12.
Basically.
Yes.
That's just the gist of it. And if anybody send me a custom list, I wanted to read those before we get started, because some people took the time out to email us.
And did what? A custom list?
No, they send us their personal. Rather than reading the average, they sent us their personal picks. I'm going to do that, okay?
But isn't it? Alright, I guess. Go ahead.
All right. So let's see. The first one I got is from... I got Wade Ilson. His top 10 is Iron Man 2 at number 10, Captain America the First Avenger at 9.
What? Whoa, hold on.
Wait, what? That's crazy.
I'm sorry, but no. Anyway, continue, please.
All right, number 8, he has Thor the Dark World. 7, Age of Ultron. 6, Iron Man. 5, The Incredible Hulk. 4, The Avengers. 3, Ant-Man. 2, Captain America, Winter Soldier. And 1, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Where was Iron Man 2 in there?
Number 10.
Oh.
Yeah,
What was Iron Man 3 then?
It was, I guess it was so bad, he actually gave me a top 10 and didn't put it on the list.
Oh, so he left 2 movies out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he didn't rate The Incredible Hulk.
No, he had it at 5.
he did.
He had
5.
Incredible Hulk at 5.
Yeah.
Can you just read it again real quick? I'm sorry.
All right, so he has Iron Man 2.
I lost it after you said Captain America was 9. I was like, wait, what? Anyway.
We got Iron Man 2 at 10, 9, The First Avenger, Captain America, 8, Thor the Dark World, 7, Age of Ultron, 6, Iron Man, 5, Incredible Hulk, 4, The Avengers, 3, Ant-Man, 2, Winter Soldier, and 1, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, I knew Wade would have Guardians number 1. I knew that.
You knew that one?
Man.
You look what you did, Wade. Look what you did. You
You
just
gave Chris the sad face.
murked Chris on the podcast.
Oh, it didn't murk me. It's just I don't get it. But so
We'll
basically, what he's saying is Thor: Dark World is better than Captain America.
that's what maybe he dug it. We'll get into it once we go down to the average. But then we got Larry from Nerd and Cheese on Instagram. All right. So he has Iron Man 2 in the bottom, followed by Incredible Hulk, then Thor, then Captain America, the First Avenger, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man.
What? Wait, Iron Man 3 is better than Captain America? Oh my God!
Captain
Everyone's sitting on Captain America right now.
I know it's
And the first cap?
yeah, the First
Yeah.
Avenger. He got Iron Man 3 as better than it.
Oh,
Larry, man. Larry. Nerd and Cheese.
You're misguided, Larry.
You got Ant-Man, Iron Man, Thor, the Dark World
What number?
at 5.
Jesus.
Larry. Then we got Avengers, Guardians, and then Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Thank you for submitting your email, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you.
I agree with his number one.
Yeah, I agree with his number one too. But
And then I have Phantom Blood. Phantom Blood sent in his. His is pretty safe. Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, Thor, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Iron Man, Captain America, The Avengers, Ant-Man, The Incredible Hulk, high on his list at number 3,
Nice.
Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, that's cool. I can see that. That's a cool list. Not that bad.
Well, that's why I wanted people to send us their list, because I wanted to see how it compared to all the results. Like once the results get averaged out.
Yeah.
So I was gonna do that, and I'm looking for Pandas, and I'm sorry, Panda, I can't find your list. Let's see.
it's got to be in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, I'm scrolling. We're live.
So many responses.
You saw mine, right? What my comment was?
Yeah. What was your comment? I took a dookie.
I think it was something like that.
They're very close.
I just wanted to see if you would have noticed it was me or not.
I figured it was you, but I'm looking before. If I can't find it, Panda, I'll read it on the next episode. Let's see.
You gotta find him, man. He's like one of our biggest fans.
If not the
If not the, I agree. If not the.
biggest fan.
Let's see. If he's here, if you're listening, Panda, please save me and submit your list again.
Save Jose's ass, because he can't find it.
It's just so many avenues that people submitted their stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I could swore he sent a personal one.
I thought so too, but I don't have it here.
Wait, didn't he put it? He put it in the Facebook chat.
Which chat? We have like
I know he has like 8 fanboy chats, but one of those, I'll look for it right now.
Yeah, look for it. Look for it. So while Chris is looking for that, I'm gonna clarify some things, because when we did the post on Instagram, top Marvel movies, some people got confused and they thought we meant all Marvel movies. So some people were voting for X-Men movies. Some people were voting for Spider-Man. One person.
Yo, that one kid, he kept posting Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm like, I wrote a big comment to him and then deleted it. I was like, I'm not even gonna go into this.
Were you gonna shatter his dreams?
No, I was just gonna explain to him how that whole thing works, and then I just realized that
Some people just not gonna get it.
that, and I didn't care.
That's
To keep writing.
that's good. Keep it real.
I
Well,
was like, forget it.
any luck, Chris?
I'm looking. There's like 8 of them. So
Yeah, he has like 8 combos open. But
okay, I found it.
Found it. So read it out.
All right, starting from the bottom. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Incredible Hulk.
What?
Yeah, and he wrote in parentheses, sorry, Jose.
Oh my God.
He wrote in parentheses, you gotta give him credit. He knew you liked it, and he said sorry, but that's how he feels. And
Okay. I respect it, Panda. I respect it.
so that was his 10.
wait, I think it's 10. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, he ranked all 12. So top 12. Okay, so it's top 12. Hulk is the bottom.
Whoa.
11 is Iron Man 3. 10 is Thor. 9 is Thor: Dark World. 8 is Iron Man 2. 7, Captain America, First Avenger. 6 is Iron Man. 5 is Age of Ultron. 4 is Ant-Man. 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy. 2, Avengers. And number 1 is The Winter Soldier.
All right. So that's pretty safe. I think the thing I was noticing the most is like the bottom and the top are pretty consistent. Is in the middle where things get.
Right, yeah, where things get to move around, right?
Yeah. So
I would agree.
this list was growing and evolving throughout the week, and there was one sure winner, and it dropped a few ranks. I can't wait to get to that one. So let's start with the official. We're gonna cover all 12. I know we said 10, but what the hell? 2 extra movies won't kill us, will it?
No.
Let's do it.
All right. So number 12 Marvel movie is Iron Man 3. Any surprises here?
No.
No. I had it as my bottom.
Yeah, this movie right here had to be one of the biggest disappointments after coming off Avengers. I think it was one of the reasons why, other than the bad story, it had like a huge pinnacle, like came Avengers and then this movie. What do you guys think this movie went wrong in? What department?
Everything.
Well, I think what really hurt Iron Man 3 was that the fact that the trailer was awesome.
Uh-huh.
We thought we was gonna get Mandarin, and it was a awesome actor who was
Right.
playing him. Ended up being a joke. I kind of think, in a sense, it felt like Marvel's at that time period. I guess like kind of like Batman 2, Dark Knight. Like it
Right.
felt like it was gonna be a darker tone to it. But then we ended up getting Mad Robert Downey. Um, yeah, it just didn't ended up being what it ended up look like it was going to be.
It was so weird how little Iron Man was in this film. Like I can't even tell you any memorable scenes of Iron Man other than the huge finale where had all the armor suits come up
Which was
and the terrible
All,
villain.
all the different Iron Mans.
Yeah, all the suits came up and that villain was pretty bad.
Mm.
yeah, yeah, and I think too people were excited to see Iron Patriot. And it
That was
wasn't
a
really.
disappointment. Yeah, it wasn't what they're expecting. And then Pepper Potts getting the powers in the end and saving Tony, I was done.
Yeah.
I lost my shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad this made it to the bottom of the list. I think it's fair to move on. Any closing thoughts on Iron Man 3?
I've read and heard things that the Mandarin is actually the Mandarin, and it was like a play on a play kind of
Really?
thing. Yeah, like that. There's certain hints that he drops that. Yeah, he says he's that Trevor actor guy, but really, he is the Mandarin, and he'll be around or something. But who knows? They could just be saying that to justify how bad it was.
With Ben Kingsley, I welcome that just to see him,
Yeah.
redo that.
Yeah.
I mean, they set it up right with the trailers and whatnot. We were ready for it. It just didn't deliver.
So let's go down. We're gonna go to number 11, right?
Yes.
So number 11, Thor: The Dark World. No surprise here. I actually think this was one of the worst. I think this was on my bottom. This movie, other than tying it into the Infinity Gauntlet and one of the Power Stones, Infinity Gems, I really can't tell you much about this film. It had a dark elf villain. Kat Dennings was comic relief, and what else happened?
Loki died and then didn't die.
Yeah.
Swerved. They swerved the audience. Yeah, it's just I think Thor in general is like one of Marvel's weakest properties.
Mm-hmm.
And, Dark World was too much comic relief, and a story that no one really could follow, and really had no like roots to the comics.
Yeah.
And then the villain, man, I don't even know his name. I forgot his name.
Me too. I forgot almost everything about that movie.
I remember they had like a big fight scene on the Rainbow Bridge, on the Tri Bridge.
Mm.
I do remember that.
Where everyone is like, ah. So yeah, I think I would have put this underneath Iron Man 3 because Iron Man 3, I at least remember the scene with all the. Remember when everyone thought it was the Hulkbuster suit
Mm.
and it was actually Igor model, but that was at least I remember a scene from Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Oh.
But it came out afterwards, right? After Dark World.
I don't know actually. I forget.
I got the list right here. Dark World came out after Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's bad.
Yeah. So that was like, remember we talked about the dip, and that was definitely a huge dip in the Marvel lineup.
You could say that again.
So now I guess we're officially in the top 10.
Yeah.
Top
Do you think should we reveal what the average position was each movie?
Yeah, the average position for Iron Man 3 was 9.7, so it was always in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thor: The Dark World was a 9.4, so that was always in the bottom too. So it's pretty that's not the right word. What word am I trying to say here? It's pretty,
Unanimous.
Obvious?
Yeah.
Unanimous?
yes, that word, that these movies are generally hated within the MCU community.
Fair to say.
Fair save. So now we're in the top 10, and we have Iron Man 2. So 2 Iron Man movies in the bottom of the list. And I can't argue with that because
I'm not surprised at that.
you know, this movie, you wanted to like it, right? It's like you came in because Iron Man 1 was so good, and you were hoping they wouldn't hit the sophomore slump. But man, with between Whiplash, I mean, it had a major highlight was Black Widow. The first time we got to see Black Widow.
Right. That
So,
was cool. I mean, and War Machine, getting to see War Machine was cool, but they switched up the actor, so that I think kind of bothered me. And then that like Whiplash, like you said, was pretty whack. Yeah, I don't think it just didn't. Again, it missed the bullet on the. Like, I think all three Iron Mans have whack villains, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Marvel's villain complex is terrible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm thinking Iron Man 2 memorable scenes that stand out. Obviously, the car racing scene with the first saw Whiplash.
Mm-hmm. I would think so, definitely.
Black Widow taking down Favre in the boxing ring. I love that scene. Black Widow solo moments when she's infiltrating the building.
Yeah, in the hallway.
In the hallway, those are great. And it was a terrible ending where they just like combined their laser beam to defeat Whiplash.
Mm.
Yeah, and he had like that Iron Man Whiplash suit.
Yeah, because he got hired to create armors. Yeah, it was just a poor movie, and it sucks that Iron Man is so low on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is good as Tony Stark, but that's why the first one was so good because it was focused on him and just how he put it together. But now, the other ones, yeah, in a suit, and like you said, there were cool scenes in two, like that whole racing scene. He pulls the suit out of the suitcase and all that. That's cool, but.
Oh, I forgot how terrible this part in season 2, his whole emo phase, where he didn't want to be Iron Man. He was like drinking donuts, eating coffee.
Eating coffee, drinking donuts.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that whole moment with Ben that he was like didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be Iron Man no more. That dragged on.
Yeah. Okay.
Which we've seen that before. I think that was in the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, right?
Yeah, that was one of those moments where the hero doubts themselves. But that one did have a good moment though when he created the element using his father's research.
Mm-hmm.
A brand new element, which is one of the things that Tony Stark's, other than creating Ultron, he really hasn't done anything besides build armors, So
yeah, well, 2 is better than 3.
Yeah, 2.
Not saying much, but yes.
At the bottom of the list. So now we're at number 9. So this one is pretty upsetting to me. The Incredible Hulk at number 9, the black sheep of the Marvel family. I don't know why it's so low on this list, people. I
can't agree with this.
I can't agree with. I could see where it might get stuck, and I could see where, but at number 9, people, I really want to see what they didn't like about it. I know Chris is not a big fan, so what do you think the reasons was, Chris, that maybe?
Who said? Wait, well, first of all, let's back up a little bit. Who said I wasn't a big fan of this movie?
I remember you saying that.
No.
No, I don't remember it.
I may have rated it lower than you liked in my list, but I like it.
So it wasn't a 9, right?
Well, no, I didn't have it at 9, but I had it like 7, I think. Okay. I just think it is a part of the MCU, but it kind of feels separate based on when it came out, and just none of the actors that are in Incredible Hulk are in any of the other movies up until this point. Obviously, that's going to change in Civil War.
Yeah.
But I think that it just feels disconnected, and we had Hulk in 2003, which was just its own thing, and then this was 5 years later, I think, 2008. So I don't know. I just think it feels disconnected, and the fact that Edward Norton, it was his first and only one, and they had a much publicized spat about it, and so I think it's good though. I think I like it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I think I had it like at 5 or 6, something like that. But I think mainly it's because Marvel's own fart. You hear me? Marvel's own fault, and I think that has to do with, like Chris said, that it feels disconnected. And maybe Civil War, bringing Thunderbolt Ross. But I do think it's been a long time since we've seen him, so people may not even
remember him.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, but I do think it has to do with the fact with the Edward Norton thing, and besides them changing who Bruce Banner was, they also changed the look of the Hulk
A lot.
dramatically.
Yeah.
Even compared to Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, he looks really different.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's so different from each other that it almost feels like it's a totally different
Hulk
Yeah.
world.
Just feels separate.
But in terms of memorable moments, I felt like this film had a lot. I don't know if it's because of obviously I'm a huge Hulk fan, but we also got the Comic-Con preview when we went to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So, and I really liked Abomination, and it was the first time we actually got to see some fist fighting in the Marvel Universe. I
Yeah.
think that was a moment everyone was waiting for, and I think he had the college scene was great when he got trapped in the college.
Yep.
I really liked the scene with him and Betty underneath the rock in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that stuff. I liked the leader. I liked that guy who played the leader and his obsession with the Hulk. The Abomination, I thought Tim Roth was a great Abomination, like his obsession with the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Villain in general.
Yeah, he was a great villain, and the fact that I think Hulk gets overlooked because they teased Captain America because that was the first introduction really into Super Soldier Serum.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That is true.
Abomination did a mixture of Gamma and Super Soldier Serum, so no wonder he came out looking like that. I just think he gets overlooked. That's why it's the black sheep. And then the scene in air quotes Harlem was fucking.
But the Apollo was there.
Of course, that's all people will need to see. It was just a fun scene when he takes the two cars and smash them together.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite scenes is when he does a thunderclap,
Mm.
and then they're fighting in the roof, and Hulk is getting his ass beat until he sees Betty about to die, and then you could see him get stronger and angrier, and the rage, the CGI while it was shaky, the rage in his face when he was about to kill Abomination,
Yeah, it was dope.
it was so good, and she stopped him. I love that. I love that moment. I wish that's something the MCU explored, not this whole Black Widow shit. I want to see what Betty does to him. So I just think it got shitted on.
Feels like they threw it out the window, right?
Yeah, they threw it out the window, and I think a lot of people forgot about these great moments in the movie.
Would you favor that Hulk design over the current Hulk design?
You know what? I wish if they had the same technology that they have now and polished it up, I would prefer the one in Incredible Hulk, because right now he has this gorilla thing going on.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Where he's always hunched over.
Mm.
And he actually sometimes walks on his knuckles, like
He does. Yeah.
and that bothers me because I don't think we get to see the presence, like the scene where the other scene where he gets dropped off the plane straight from the Ultimates, when he falls off and drops
yeah.
like that moment when he comes out of there, his hand. Come on, people, come on. What is this, number 9? You guys disgraced me putting this movie so low.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. Myself, I don't.
It was 8.9 over. Did we say that? It was 8.9 overall.
Yeah, it was 8.9 overall, so it was at the bottom for most of the list. So moving on the list, we have Thor. Thor number 1. There's only so Thor. This was a fun movie. It had a few little draggy parts in here, but what did you think? What do you think about the placement of this movie on the list?
That's number 8.
Yeah.
I think no. I think it should have been lower than the Hulk.
Yeah, I think it should have been underneath the Hulk.
He barely fights anything. I do think some of the weird parts that he had with, like, I don't know, not knowing his place in time, like looking for a horse and shit like that.
Fish out of water stuff.
Yeah, that stuff was good. But yeah, I don't think it was as fun as the Incredible Hulk, and I think that's what these movies need to be, fun. When you go to the movies to see them, they should be fun. If you're flicking through the channels, would you see Hulk or would you see Incredible Hulk? I mean, Incredible Hulk or Thor. I would go Incredible Hulk all the time because it's just more fun.
I'm trying to think. Destroyer was a highlight in that movie. I thought I thought the fight was a disappointment. That really bothered me.
That's what I mean. But he looked dope.
He looked.
But
amazing.
the fight was washed. It was whack.
Loki. That's when everyone fell in love with Loki for the first time.
He
is a major highlight in that movie. I can't even lie about that. That's our first little Easter egg of the Infinity Gauntlet, which
I was gonna say that.
Which disappeared later. It must have been a decoy one.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else we had in there?
I don't remember. That movie wasn't really like that neither. I'm telling you.
See, like I don't understand why. I did have the good moment where he was unworthy, and the moment with Hawkeye's first cameo, his first ever cameo,
Yeah, that was
and
good.
the moment where he tried to lift the hammer and he infiltrated. I think that scene was really well done.
Yeah, I have to watch that again because I haven't. You're saying all these things, and I'm like, yeah, I only saw it once or twice in the theater. Yeah, I think all the points you guys touched upon, I agree it should be under the Hulk as well. I think there's some comedic parts. Again, the fish out of water thing. He doesn't really know what's going on. I can't remember the line, but he like drinks something and he throws a glass in the ground. He's like, "I want more.
I'll have another.
I'll have another."
Yeah, yeah,
That was funny.
that was coffee.
Yeah, it was coffee.
I loved it. It was
Yeah.
great. That was like one of my favorite moments in that movie.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool parts, but
Other than that, I mean, MCU wise, we got a Coulson over there. That's when we got to see a little bit of MCU's infant stages. What was the end scene credit for that? I forgot.
For Thor 1?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't
I don't remember what it was.
Let's check on the magic of the internet.
This magical thing called the internet.
So it has to do with Loki's scepter.
Oh, is it when he first talks to?
The Doctor is under disguise, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember too, Thor was the first one that they started teasing, doing that with really. Because I remember like one of the first end credit scenes was Thor's hammer in the desert.
That was Iron Man 2.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, the first one was that was Iron Man 2. Coulson was like, I have to go somewhere. There's a call.
And Robert Downey was in the Incredible Hulk too.
Yeah.
At the end, at the end, he talked to General Ross.
And then the end of Iron Man 1 was Nick Fury's first appearance.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm wrong. Sorry about that.
That's okay. And then we have at number 7, right? The Thor average was 7.9 on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So at number 7, we have Ant-Man.
Yep.
So how do you guys feel about this? A movie that gets a lot of love with the comic book community made it so low on the list. Do you think this is the point of the list where shit starts to get really competitive?
Yeah, because it's in the middle, and a lot of people would not put it in at 5, but they wouldn't put it in the end neither. I don't know. I think it should be a little bit higher, but I do agree that it should be over some of those movies that we just passed. But like I said, I judge these movies, especially Marvel, by the fun factor. So, I find almost as equally as fun as Incredible Hulk.
I'm kind of happy with the place of this list. Like, especially when we start hitting the top 6, top 5 area, I would have a hard time placing this higher than this ranking. I would put it over Thor 1, but I definitely wouldn't put it over Hulk, Incredible Hulk. Out of pure enjoyment, like you said, the fun factor for me is major. Like, if you think about the highlight of the films, like for me, it's all the Ant-Man scenes, and then everything else for me feels disposable.
Well, I think it's important to mention that this movie and the 2 movies above it both have ratings of 6, right? So it definitely plays into your point of this is where it gets murky because this one and the next 2 people couldn't really decide. It was kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, I think that's where, if I'm saying this middle, around this part, I think from like 6 to 5, no, like 7 to 5, it's where it gets a little weird for people. Difficult.
Yeah. But I do think Ant-Man do you think it's a dip coming off after Age of Ultron? So you got Guardians, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man. Do you think Marvel's heading downwards or upwards?
Personally, I think it's upwards because what was their last solo movie?
Ooh, the last solo movie before
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah, which was the pinnacle, right?
Right. So I feel like that was like the pinnacle, and then this was more fun than all the Iron Mans and the Thors. Well, maybe not Iron Man 1, but definitely 2 and 3, and then both Thors.
Yeah, we just have this list is gonna get really controversial here, and I'm okay with this placement. I don't think anybody could convince me that it should be higher in this list, and I would be upset if it was lower. So, and I think since we reviewed it so recently, I don't know what more to add to Ant-Man that I haven't said before.
Right.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I'm gonna just keep it moving.
All right, moving on. Number
All right.
6.
Number 6. Shame on you. Captain America: The First Avenger. How the hell did this make it to number 6?
Meaning,
I'm
it should be
baffled.
higher or?
This should be top 5. And
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah.
like dominant top 5. I saw some lists where it was like number 9. I think
Was
we
it
What first list you read?
the one that Chris flipped out on, but
This is First Avenger.
yeah, First
Yeah.
Avenger.
Yeah, should be higher.
It should
Yeah.
be a lot higher. Like, I don't understand what people want out of the movie. Like, I understand the director who directed it is not like a well-known guy, but this movie had like an origin story, like the best origin story of all the superhero movies. You got to see Steve Rogers get bullied. You had that awesome scene in the Stark Expo. You had the scene where he goes to the doctor's office and changes his address and changes all his information, and him getting bullied and he holds up the shield and Bucky has to save him.
The
Yeah.
the suit was fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
both of them. Oh wait, it was only one of them here, right? We only got the.
Well, then you could think of the one that he was wearing when he was
I love that
working-
one. Yeah, the leather jacket one.
that one, but I'm talking about the little shitty one that he was wearing, like to do the propaganda plays
That
and
was
stuff.
fun too in the movie.
It was fun though. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones was great. That's when we first got introduced to Peggy Carter.
Oh, I love Petty. Yeah, Peggy.
Red Skull gets, I think, like under the radar. I think he was awesome.
yeah, I think Red Skull is really overlooked, especially as the most like visually appealing villain.
Yeah, visually, he definitely right there. Prior after Thanos.
Right, and I think it had a lot to do with the fallout too. I think he had a little fallout with the Marvel team, also the actor.
Right.
Hugo Weaving. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he understands there's no more Matrix coming, so he better play his fucking cards right.
Yeah. Exactly. Or Lord of the Rings.
Like they're done? They're over? Shit, I shouldn't have sent that stuff.
Yeah, you better
Right.
jump back into that red makeup.
Yo, but and then the scenes where he goes through the transformation, and even before that, the scene where he jumps on the grenade, like that's some powerful shit right there.
Yeah.
Like people, I think that's one of the most overlooked scenes too in that movie.
The
Yeah, I
action
love
in this movie was dope. Like the shit,
Yeah.
you got to see Cap on a motorcycle. This is the first time we saw Cap since the shitty '90s movie.
Mhm.
So yeah, I definitely think it should be higher on the
And then you
list.
got the Howling Commandos in this movie. And
Yeah. It's the technology they used to get Chris Evans to look the way he did in the beginning.
That was
Smaller,
cool.
Skinnier, all that stuff.
That was risky too, because that could have came out looking bad.
It was convincing.
Yeah, it was really convincing. And
Plus, this was the start of the Avengers. Like, this is when it was gonna start kicking off, and we got introduced to the Cosmic Cube. So
that was our first intro to the Cosmic Cube, and the fight scene at the end with him and Red Skull and the plane
Mm-hmm.
and his sacrifice. Come on, how do you put this low on the list?
and the ending where in Times Square with Shield.
Or even to make it better, the ruse that he woke up in the regular time.
That's what I'm saying.
I like that. That moment was dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to watch this movie now. I haven't seen it in a bit. I want to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm probably gonna throw that on.
Yeah, it was really good. So now things get interesting. All right, so top 5? This is top 5, right?
This is top 5. Yeah.
So average of Captain America before we move on was 6.5. So it was always somewhere in the middle.
All right, so
Mhm.
let's count down up to 5. What we passed.
So we have Iron Man 3 coming in at 12. Number 11 was Thor: The Dark World. Iron Man 2 coming in next at
Number
starting
10.
starting the top 10. Incredible Hulk at 9. Thor at 8. 7 was Ant-Man. 6 was Captain America: The First Avenger.
And now our 5.
Top 5.
Yeah,
And,
well,
and,
the
and we should
awesome
just
hits.
end the episode on a cliffhanger and make people tune in.
Yeah,
like they did in fucking what are they doing, Infinity Wars?
Yeah.
They're doing explaining it, but no, we'll do the top 5. And coming in at 5 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. This does not belong in the top 5.
I would agree with you guys.
It was a fun movie, but there was a lot of shit wrong in this film.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like when it's just frustrating because I wonder what it is. Like I wonder if it's the fact that it's brand new and it had the latest technology. Well,
Had a lot of superheroes.
it had a lot of superheroes, but comparing it to the first film, it was a major disappointment. And I think maybe it was just a victim of his own, trying to do what worked twice with the comic relief and stuff like that. But I think the highlights of the film was the Hulkbuster fight scene.
Yes.
That's definitely like a major, major moment. The birth of
Quicksilver
Vision.
dying.
Quicksilver dying was a major moment.
I think so because it first time we got to see there was some casualties in the MCU that was possible.
But at the same time, he was a pleasant death because I was so sick of his Quicksilver.
Yeah, but like you said, Vision.
The birth of Vision was a
Great.
major
Vision
plus.
was great. Yeah.
The party in the front, like I like the beginning, like the scene where they go to Von Strucker's and they discover that, and then they had the party afterwards.
Mhm.
The first appearance of Ultron was so sick.
Mhm.
But then it falls apart. I don't know where do you think it goes wrong?
I think after that, Ultron gets his body.
Oh, I think when Ultron appears, like as his actual personality.
Yeah, I think they just humanized him too much.
Yeah, when he's supposed to be this cold, calculating machine, and too much of that Tony Stark. I understand what they try to do with being the son of Tony and giving him some of that personality, but that's not what Ultron is.
I thought it would be cool if it was like instead of it being like a like a knowing or immature version of Tony like amplified. It should have been an evil Tony amplified. That may have worked better.
Like they had the great scene in the boat. The boat scene was great, and then they ruin it when he gets all like apologizing for ripping his arm off, and then transferring money from Data. Like why do Ultron like want to transfer money? Like why does he care that this is a clean exchange of? Like why did he just go in there and take the fucking vibranium? Like all this stuff really bothers me.
Yeah, again, he's too human. He's thinking too much. Like, you're not supposed to do that. He's supposed to just be the Ultron robot.
Yeah, and what else? What do you guys think? Like any moments in this film standing out to you? Maybe why it was voted so high, or maybe reasons why it should be lowered?
I maybe because of the final action scene. Maybe a lot of people like that, the floating island. For art, the things that we don't like about Ultron, I think people really loved about Ultron. Those same qualities. I guess he felt like a fun villain. I could see that. I mean, and the fact that you got a bunch of superheroes on the screen at the same time, I think that always is gonna make it always gonna go ahead of a solo superhero movie.
So you got the spectacle aspect of it gets it voted higher.
Because honestly, when we're kids, that's what we all want to see. Like, that's what we want to see. Like, these solo movies are like appetizers before we get to the fucking meal, like the real shit. And that's what we want to see, a joint universe. So when you get to see a whole bunch of people on the screen, I think people are always going to, especially the casual moviegoer and stuff like that, they're going to want to see a whole bunch.
Yeah, and this movie also packed in a lot of references to what's going to come down the line. We had the first glimpses of friction between the Cap and Iron Man. We had mentions of the Infinity Gauntlet, and it really pushed the New Avengers. The facility they opened up with Falcon. Was he War Machine? He was War Machine, right? War Machine.
War Machine.
Scarlet Witch, and spoiler, not Quicksilver.
Vision.
Vision, right?
Yeah.
Falcon, right?
That's another reason why people may put it up there,
Because they're excited to see the next class.
Right.
All right, so yeah, Age of Ultron made it into the top 5 based on the votes with an average vote of 6.1. So going down, top 4. Number 4 is Iron Man. And I can't argue. I mean, it has a lot of going for it, but then it does have a lot going against it. I think the nostalgia really helped this movie on this list.
Yeah, and it's a solid 4 too. It's the only one with a 4 in its score, so I think kind of solidified this 4 spot a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean the obvious highlights was the first time Marvel had control over their own character. That was major.
Mm-hmm.
Our first introduction to Robert Downey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the cave scene that was like right out the book almost.
I love that. I love that more than most of the movie. That whole.
Me too. That was my favorite scene.
so good, and you saw his struggle, and then why he changed his ways once he saw his weapons were being used for war and all these things. Damn, yo, that was a good movie. Now I feel like we want to go back and watch all these movies.
Yeah, at least the top like 5.
I don't think it's number 4 though.
I don't think it's a number 4 either, but I think it's the nostalgia because this villain had a really soft villain. The Ironmonger
Yeah.
was really weak. I mean, the only thing it was good for was a decent action scene. The only highlight was when he got thrown through a bus. Really, it wasn't that much action like for the finale.
Mm-hmm.
No, when he lost his mask and
Oh,
so on and
of
so
course.
forth.
Yeah, they took off their mask and they had a conversation.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, oh, and then that's when Terrence Howard was supposed to be War Machine because I gotta get me one of those. Nah, not quite.
No.
No, you'll get your ass a TV show.
Yeah. Pretty good TV show, but
Yeah.
not
You know he'd still be
shit.
crying. He'd be going to Target and go buy the action figures. He sees War Machine. He a little drops down.
That's too funny.
And
Yeah.
and this movie had Nick Fury intro. It was the end credit scene.
Mhm.
Right, which was cool.
Oh, you know what other scene was good too? Where he had his arc reactor stolen with the pizza. When Jeff Bridges took his arc reactor. And he was dying.
Yeah, I know you're talking about when he comes through a pizza and all that, right?
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
Mm.
And he had to struggle to save himself.
Yeah, it's where he took it out his chest.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that scene. Well, yeah, number 4, strong for it. It's like Chris says, the only one with a solid number. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So going into top 3, this is when I get upset right here.
Mhm.
Captain America: Winter Soldier. You guys voted for this as number 3.
They did. They're all so close though.
It's
the top
very,
3.
very close. It's a just to give you the numbers, is a 3.2, a 3.1, and a 3.
3.
The top 3 was neck to neck.
Yeah.
But Winter Soldier fell to number 3. How does that make you guys feel?
Upset.
Furious.
Where's the table to flip over? Because I don't know how the hell this made it at number 3.
This is without a doubt number 1.
Without doubt,
Without doubt.
number 1. Like, if you had to show someone that never seen a superhero movie ever in their life, this would be the one you show them.
Yeah.
I think
Winter Soldier, number 1.
Yeah. Me too. 100%. I saw it 3 times in the theater. It's so good.
they had the scene, the boat scene alone, shits on the top 5. You know, the scene where the stealth mode.
Yeah, no, that's
And
that's basically what I'm basing it off of. That
That and the elevator scene.
the elevator
highway
scene,
scene.
the highway scene with Bucky.
man. Oh shit! Everything.
Everything. The finale was good when they had that huge fight in the was it the shield carrier, the helicarrier?
Yeah,
the
the
bunker
helicarriers.
scene.
Yeah.
What was the villain's name in the bunker that was on all the screens?
Oh,
The German guy, right?
no, the computer guy.
He put himself into the German. He put himself into the computer.
Yeah, because they went to the old Shield base
Right.
thing, and then he put himself into the computer when we thought he died in an earlier MCU movie, and then actually what happened was his consciousness is in a like a supercomputer.
Damn, what was his name?
He's the little guy with his glasses.
He was the assistant to
To Red Skull.
Red Skull. Yeah, I forget his name.
Von something. I don't know.
Now we got introduced to Falcon here.
Which
Yeah.
I liked Falcon's role in here. It wasn't too
Yeah.
much. It was a nice introduction, and you got to see some of his motivation as an ex-soldier and what he does on his free time to help other troops.
Mm-hmm. One of the best opening scenes.
Hydra taking over.
On the left. On the left.
On the left. Yeah. That was the thing. Hydra. Yeah, Hydra. The whole fucking reveal that Hydra is basically Shield.
Yeah.
I thought that was it's just that little truck scene with Nick Fury inside the inside the truck.
An SUV. Yeah. We'll try to kill him.
That was his only action scene so far, right? He didn't really have a lot of action
Yeah,
in Avengers.
not really.
In the beginning of Avengers, when he jumps out, does like a tuck and roll at the helicopter.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
does
and then
one move.
Age of Ultron, he shows up in the helicarrier. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah, so that was a good scene too. It was dramatic. You thought he was dead.
Yep.
The Black Widow had
yeah.
a little bit more explained to her background.
They went to the Apple store.
which was super awkward.
Yeah.
I love how they like hack a computer like in the store.
Yep.
That's actually like my least favorite part in that movie.
It makes sense because they thought they wouldn't be able to be tracked as easily.
I think I like the joke too, which between Black Widow and him when they kissed, and then I think they had the question if he's still a virgin. Like,
Yeah.
that came up, and we got Agent 13 was introduced here too.
Right.
She's cute.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this movie had everything. Like
Yeah, it's definitely number one. Sorry, guys.
the guy's name is Zola.
Zola.
The only thing I think they were missing in this movie was Hawkeye. That's it.
Yeah, Hawkeye should have definitely been in this movie.
Other than that, I'm good.
Because they didn't focus too much on trying to expand the universe. Like, it was mentioned that these other characters exist, but it wasn't like, oh, we're doing this for later. Oh, we're saving this for the next movie. Don't worry. It felt like its own little piece that you can like take out and watch on its own. Like, that's one of the advantages that Guardians also had. Like, it feels like you don't need the rest of the story to enjoy it. So, number 3. Can't believe I said that. I was for sure ready to say number 1. But yeah, number 3. So let's go into number 2, which is hard to argue with this one.
Yeah.
Marvel's The First Avengers.
No, just the Avengers. Is it the first Avengers?
I thought I said
What's
Marvel.
the first? No, it's the first Avengers movie, but it's the Avengers.
It's just called the Avengers, though.
I thought it was technically Marvel's, but
No, it's Marvel's The Avengers, but not
Yeah.
Marvel's The First Avengers.
oh, that's what I said. I'm bad. My bad.
That's why I was
apologize.
confused. I was like, wait.
Oh, no. Yeah, Marvel's The Avengers. This is the first time we got to see everyone. This is what everything was building up to. And it delivered, man. Josh Whedon
Definitely.
had that magic touch in this film. It had the comedy, the action, so many classic moments.
Mm-hmm.
Any of
Yeah,
them
this is
stand
my
out to
number.
you?
This was my number 2 as well.
This was your number 2?
Yeah.
This was actually, I think, my 3.
Yeah, I think this was my 3 also.
Yeah, this was my number 2.
What stands out in this film to you guys? I mean, for me, it was definitely the back and forth between Tony and Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Loki manipulating the Avengers was one of my favorite things, and
I love Thor and Hulk.
versus
Hulk.
Hulk. I love the build up to Hulk. I love how everyone was afraid of him. No one really wanted him around. Mark Ruffalo, that's the first time we got to see him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Bruce. And I love the friction between them in the first scene where we got to see him transform. And
Right.
Yeah.
And the helicarrier, and that fight was so good with him and Thor. You want to see more.
Mm-hmm.
He gave you a little piece.
And they're fighting while Iron Man is trying to unstuck the engine, and then Captain America, who is still like 70 years from being on ice, and he's like, you got to look at this electrical thing and do this, and he's like, I'm just gonna hit it with my shield. I don't know.
And during that scene, what else was happening? The one downside was Hawkeye was basically neglected because he was like a bad guy, mind wiped throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
Well, that was a bummer.
He's been kind of. I mean, I think you can make the argument that Hawkeye in all the movies that he's in has been mishandled.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jeremy Renner because I think he made it. I think he had the he's a good smartass to play Hawkeye, but he just didn't get enough love in the movies.
Mm-hmm. And then when he did get love, it was in all the wrong ways in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Spent 20 minutes in a farm with his family. And totally, it was Avengers was one of those films like you never ever seen that before. There was never no Justice League. There was never no assembly of characters like this. And the money shot that I think the first thing when you say Avengers is that money shot where the camera pans circular around all of them.
Yeah, that's it.
Shot.
That's all I remember.
That's the money shot. And the music is so iconic that even when they played it in Ant-Man for a second, it already triggers Avengers.
No,
Hulk,
it was great.
Hulk punching the shit out of that alien and flipping it. I love that. That's my fanboy moment.
Well, Hulk and Loki, right?
Oh, that was the scene that stole the movie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The puny god.
I think that Iron Man scene would have been more when Hulk catched him if I think that was in one of the trailers, and I think that fucked it up.
Because you knew he was gonna do it.
Yeah, had they just saved that, it would have been more like dramatic. heroic.
Yeah, it would have
Yeah.
been it would have been a lot more dramatic and heroic. And I also think the way that final scene was shot, a lot of it, not a lot of it, some of it was that one camera following the action. So you will see Hawkeye do something, and then it goes. You follow the arrow to see Black Widow doing her thing, and then the camera would just keep going. And that's the funny scene that Hulk also had too. Yeah, all funny scenes where him and Thor are teaming up,
Oh, he punches Thor.
and he punches Thor. That was a good moment there too. Hulk was really funny in this film, and I thought this was a writing good moment for him as a character.
Well, that whole sequence when they arrive in New York, in the last 30 minutes or so, there's just so many one-liners, between Tony Stark and him, and then Hulk. He's like, they're doing out the plans, and Cap is like, Hulk, smash, essentially.
And
he gives him a little smirk, and you're like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah,
So-
and Hulk was really agile too, jumping on the building, and like he had a plan of action.
Yeah.
I
was
really
thinking
knew
about
that.
it. Shit.
gorilla.
Yeah, he was definitely. He looked like King Kong climbing the building.
He stole the show.
He stole the show, and the finale was pretty epic, and it definitely people.
I don't
still
think it was
talk about
that epic.
Well, I think in terms of like the first time you got to see a mass alien invasion, and
Yeah, and definitely in a superhero movie. I feel with you. All right, I'll get you. I'll go with you on that.
and the fact that it's referred to a lot in the rest of the continuity, even within Daredevil, the incident, things like that.
Right.
It's like the first time that these superheroes are publicly assembled, and yeah, it was just magic, and that's when
Definitely.
we first saw Thanos, right? At the
Yeah,
end.
at the end.
At the end, yes.
At the end, we didn't know who Loki was talking. It wasn't revealed who Loki was talking to in the beginning, right? When he was.
That's right. He was talking to the Chitauri, or somebody that works for the Chitauri or whatever, and then at the end, the Chitauri guy talks to Thanos.
Yeah, I love it.
Mhm.
To challenge them is to court death, and then that look when he looks back and that smile. Come
Yeah.
on, that's Marvel magic right there.
That was great. That was
I
great.
think all credit scenes, like the end credit scenes, always get a lot of attention. But I think after that one, they felt more important.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Even when it came to like X-Men and having Apocalypse at the end of theirs, like that has nothing to do with the MCU. But I'm just saying, like as far as superhero movies in general, I just felt like when people saw Thanos, they were like, "Oh, this is a really good way to set up our next movies, like with the end credit scene and doing something real epic like that."
And then to what you're saying, and I was expected. Like you can't even release a superhero movie and dare. Like what was the last movie that didn't have one and people were disappointed? Shit, I can't remember. Was it Amazing Spider-Man?
Age of Ultron, no?
Age of Ultron had a mid-credit. Yeah, it didn't have an end, but it only had the mid-credit.
Yeah, I think
What
you're
was that
right.
again?
It was Thanos going to his little.
Oh
compartment
yeah,
and says, all right, sometimes you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, man. That
Puts
was
the
one
gauntlet
cool
on.
moment. He put the gauntlet on. Yeah, everyone, it's expectation. Even what Spider-Man showed the mid-credit scene was a clip from Days of Future Past. Like
It wasn't even related to the movie. It was just the promotion.
It was so weird. Like what?
It's so odd.
Like, it was such a weird mid-credit, but that's the power of the Marvel credit scene that people expected.
yeah.
They have the memes like if you walk out of a Marvel movie, you're crazy if you don't sit through it.
Yeah, I saw so many people leaving for Ant-Man. I was like, what are you doing?
Don't you know? Don't
Like,
you
it's-
know?
Shouldn't this be a known thing already?
Yeah. But let's go to number 1. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is hard to argue because it is probably the most fun you'll have in a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. It was my number 2,
It was your number 2?
behind Winter Soldier, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Chris? Where did you have this movie?
3.
3 after Avengers?
Yes.
All right.
How about you, Jose?
It was my number 2. I had Winter Soldier, Guardians, and Avengers, the first one.
Yeah, that was my top 3.
Yeah, that's everyone's top 3, like based
In
on.
some order, yeah, some way order.
But what is it about this movie that takes number 1? It's so weird that it's number 1 because it doesn't feature anybody that let's be serious. Most people will recognize. And now it's the number 1 movie in the MCU.
Yeah. People like Chris Pratt, I think, and It was just different and new and fresh, and it was funny.
Plus, you didn't have to know. That was the best thing for them, for the people going, because they didn't know them and they didn't feel left out. Like when you go to see Captain America and Thor and all these Iron Mans, they felt like I know these characters, but there's people in the movie theater that have really been reading the books and they know more, and they kind of, it's a different thing with Guardians. They kind of feel like, hey, who the fuck knows them? We all don't know them. Like this is the beginning for all of us, and I think the fact that it didn't have a lot of the MCU characters that we're familiar with show up in that movie, it feels like its own movie in a weird way, like its own Star Wars. So I think that's what people are basing it off of that too. It doesn't feel like a real superhero movie, to be honest with you.
And I think that's why. That's the only thing that brought it down on my list.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about that. I was like, man, but if I had to show this to someone and say this is what a superhero movie is, I don't think I could show it to them. Like if it was their first time.
Yeah.
That's
a superhero team, and then that doesn't make itself into the end when they're in that circle and they're like, yo, we may die, and then they make the decision to actually go through with it. That's the only like heroic, I guess, thing maybe if you've never seen a superhero movie that you can take from it.
Yeah, because they were like outlaws throughout the whole movie, doing their own thing, and their whole
band of mischiefs.
The band of mischiefs, and all their whole goal was to make money, like until the until the middle of the movie where they found out what they really had.
Right.
But I would say James Gunn had everything going for him, using a lot of practical effects and makeup. Like I never seen makeup characters look so good. Like when you do skin color and you go off Alien, like it could look really bad. But Gamora, Drax,
Nebula.
What's his home? Yeah, Nebula, his homeboy, the whistle. How can I forget him?
Ronan.
He was great too. The other one with the mohawk, Murrow from Walking Dead.
I forget.
Yondu. Like they all looked great.
Yeah.
Especially Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula looked real good. She's cute as hell.
Yeah.
And they made her look crazy, right?
She looked crazy. Yeah, great action scenes. Ronan had, say what you want about the end with the dance off. Like everything leading up to the dance off was fun.
Yeah.
You definitely felt like that world could die. Like the Nova Corp, even the Nova Corp failing, that was a powerful moment too in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want to say about Ronan. I think visually he looked awesome.
Yeah.
And I really like Christopher Lee's portrayal. I hope he comes back. I think he will be back. But I really liked his Ronan the Accuser. The part where he killed the Thanos assistant.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's like, who you calling boy? And then he put the gem onto his hammer.
Yeah, and then Thanos had that like pissed off look on his face. He's like, "What are you doing? Stop it!"
Come on, I gotta deal with this.
Ugh. Yeah, exactly.
So this is the first time we actually got to see Thanos have dialogue, right, in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And is this the first time Josh Brolin portrays him too, right? Officially?
Officially, I think officially. Yeah. I don't think he's on the credit, but officially,
yeah. That's right.
And this movie had a memorable score using the soundtrack to the 80s and 90s, 70s, using the Awesome Mix Volume 1 as the score throughout the movie was,
which was brilliant.
And the music matched everything really well.
Yeah, and I love this backstory too. It's fast.
Oh, that was the best part too, right? It was quick. It was like 5 minutes. Yeah, it was good, and it left a lot of open-ended questions like who's his father, and really leaves you wanting more. The Guardians.
Yeah, the Collector. Oh,
I love the Collector. I thought Benicio del Toro was a great Collector. He was such a character in that movie, even though he was in it for a little bit.
Yeah.
You remember him, the moment, and it had a critical moment too. They explained the whole Infinity Gauntlet and the whole purpose of the gems. So that really laid it out for you if you didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Well, if you knowledge based, this one, I think for sure this movie made the MCU feel huge. Like it made it feel like, I think, what the comics, what the comics are, which is like this crazy expand the universe. I think this movie really did that.
Yeah, I mean, and this movie was, box office wise, it was destroying. It was a force of nature. This unknown movie making so much money, and I know Marvel was. I know they said they weren't expecting it, but I don't think they truly knew what they had. The buzz was good, but I don't think they were expecting this to be a huge hit like it was.
No, it was their biggest risk to date, when they released it, and or made plans to release it, and then when it came out, because no one knew. A good movie was a good movie, no matter what the characters and story are. But still, they had such success. Coming off the Avengers and then Winter Soldier, and this was the next movie after that, and it's like, well, we've never even talked about these guys before. We'll see what happens.
And let's be honest, though. Up to that point, what fun sci-fi adventure movie can you name? That's original. That's not like a sequel or something. You know what I mean? None. You can't really name anything. You start to think of garbage like Pluto Nash and shit.
Pluto Nash.
Thank you for yeah. I was thinking like Spaceballs. I couldn't even think of anything like recent.
Yeah.
Nah, nothing that felt like it could be like a big universe that you can expand on. Nah, Star Wars was pretty much like the pinnacle of that. Like,
And Rocket and Groot, can't forget them, and Drax, hilarious Drax. Like, no one knew Batista was gonna be that funny.
Hell no, I was like shocked in the movie theater.
I was in shock too. I was not expecting him. Like, such a terrible wrestler on the mic, and then he was hilarious in the movie. And then everyone fell in love with Rocket and Groot, which I was surprised at Groot. Groot had like the biggest following after that movie.
Yeah, I knew Rocket would.
Yeah, I knew Rocket would too. I knew people would be drawn to Rocket, but Groot was something special. Vin Diesel getting that ill check probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I won't be surprised if you see him in Humans.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. And the dancing baby Groot was a thing of its own. Like, the movie came out already, and then the mid-credit scene for that was the baby Groot, right?
Yeah.
And
that was the mid.
Yeah, and then that was huge. They had to make merchandise after the movie. You never hear that. You always have your lineup set and like, oh, we know all this is gonna sell, but they did not know that dancing Groot would. Like, if you go to conventions and you go to like Etsy and stuff like that, you could buy dancing Groots all over now, and people love dancing Groot. And what was the end credits scene?
Howard the Duck.
Oh, how could I forget that? I feel so ashamed. I'm gonna go.
You should be ashamed, bro.
Jump out the window. Yeah, Howard the Duck, and I remember seeing that, and I went crazy, but then no one liked it.
Well, I just think, especially kids that are younger now, like in their late teens, early 20s, they don't know who Howard the Duck is. They just don't know.
But
it's very random.
And with that, I think people too, they base it off their opinion of the movie, the original movie of now. Like, then they don't even put their nostalgic love to it. Like, oh man, when you was a kid, you loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stop lying. You know you love that shit.
Yeah, so they think of it now like, oh, that's a piece of shit. Like, why would we want to see Howard the Duck? Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's where it really hurts that. But I think that was brilliant to do. I think in our expectation episodes before the movie came out, I had said I would love to see Howard the Duck. That was a perfect time to put him. So
you actually had him in a prison, right? You were voting to see him in that prison scene.
Yeah, I thought he would probably walk by in the prison scene, probably like bump Rocket Raccoon.
It's funny because in the new Howard the Duck run, he's actually in prison with Rocket.
Look at that.
Yeah, they must have heard that episode and took your idea. But I think the downside to that ending, if anything, like for me, I loved it, but for other people, like everything like set the stage for the next movie, like the Thanos and then this and then that, and this one kind of just like ended it. Like, no, we're not gonna tease of what's coming next. This is it, a fun little exclamation mark, and that's it. So maybe people were expecting to see more of a Thanos-like moment.
Yeah, but that's true. But I think that was even better because it really made you feel like this is a comic book universe. Like, there's no boundaries here. We're gonna have fun with our universe, and I kind of like backtrack what I said at one of our episodes where I'm scared for Marvel with the DC tone. I think it's unnecessary because those books alone are more fun, I think, anyway. So it makes sense that their tone would be more fun.
Gotcha. So yeah, man.
That's it.
We went down to 12 movies. We gave you 2 bonus films. We actually spent a few minutes talking about Thor and Iron Man 3. All right, so we gave you the top 12 movies up to now. I think the next time we'll do a top movie will probably be when at least 5 movies come out. I'm not gonna do it every time an MCU movie comes out.
No.
But
Well,
yeah.
we hadn't done it until Civil War. This is pretty much it. Stops at Ant-Man.
Yeah, it stops at Ant-Man. You know what it is too? Like this podcast started like after Winter Soldier, so we never really got to break down none of the movies. So
That's true.
if you're listening to this episode of Fanboys at Large, Isaac gave us the idea for the last episode for the top 10. I mean, let us know if you want us to cover like the MCU movies. We would love to do that. Not in one episode, of course. Each movie will get their own thing. I know we got a lot of feedback for character spotlights, so we'll do some more of those. But we need a list. Who do you want us to do a character spotlight? I know Isaac has made some graphics with some characters I would like to cover. Howard the Duck, but I want to see more casting episodes. Thank you for all your feedback, and thank you for tuning in live. Before we go, you can find us at fanboysatlarge.com. You can find all our past episodes and find links to our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, and all that good stuff.
Oh, but it's if you are watching live, then you should see our @s with our names.
You should. Yeah.
That's true. I forgot they were there.
Yeah.
They're fancy. We're professional.
We're fancy. But if you wanna check, you could check out the Fanboys. If you wanna check me out at Twitter or Instagram, at Adon1, that's ADONWONE, and in AdonWeTrust.com. You could find me there and check out some of my art and purchase some. You want to donate to my cause. It's not really a donation. You'll be buying.
It's a transaction.
For me, which is Chris, Twitter is at Chris John Perry, and my Instagram is at CP was here. I probably should make them the same name. I might do that at some point, but that's what they are right now. So reach out, say hi, whatever.
Same name.
When you get a Periscope account, I'll get them the same name.
Ooh. Oh. All right. Then you have different names for a while.
So thank you for everybody for voting. I truly appreciate it. All the other podcasts that helped us promote this episode, and people for sharing. Once again, thank you. This is probably one of the most fun I had doing this because it was kind of out of our hands, and I really enjoyed the fan participation in this countdown rather than it being our opinions, even though we gave you ours. But thank you for participating. We hope to try something like this with the Summer Showdown, which should be coming soon.
Yeah, definitely.
And, keep in touch, everybody. Until next time, fanboys, stay at large. Later.